Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to know the UGC NET Computer Science previous paper of the year December 2006 paper 2. There are actually 50 questions. We will cover 25 questions in part 1 and the remaining 25 questions in part 2. I will explain the complex questions in simple terms and provide tips and tricks to help you ace the exam. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced one, this video is for you. So let us start the video. So now let us start we will discuss the remaining 25 questions in the part 2. So how many DS1 signals are transported on a DS3 signal? So option A, B, C and D are given here. So a digital signal DS is a signal level in the T carrier. In telecommunications, DS1 and DS3 are digital signal level is in the T carrier system. So this is a digital transmission hierarchy. So in the DS1, so it will carry 1.544 megabits per second and consists of 24 voice channels. Each channel have 64 kbps speed. And DS3, that is the T3, has a much higher data rate than the DS1. So it is having 44.736 megabytes per second and is capable of transmitting 28 DS1 signals. So now 1 DS3 equals to 28 DS1 signals. So the answer is option D. So next one. A 10-base-2 network is limited to. So here 10-base-2. That means it is a coax cable having a maximum length of 185 meters. The maximum practical number of nodes that can be connected to a 10-base-2 segment is limited to 30. That is 30 stations per segment. So 10-base-2 standard refers to a Ethernet network using the coaxial cable. That is a thin Ethernet. It is also called as a thin Ethernet of standard IEEE 802.3. So here the 10 refers to the maximum data rate, that is 10 megabytes per second. Base means baseband signaling and 2 indicates the type of cable, that is the coaxial cable. So option B is the correct option here. The cable length limitation of the 10-base-2 is 185 meters and station limit is 30 stations and segment limit is there is no explicit segment limits, but the practical network design often involves connecting multiple segments using repeaters. So option B is the correct one. Next, the network 198.78.41.0 is a dash. So we know that the range of IPv4 addressing, right? So class A stands for 0 to 127 and 128 to 191 for class B, 192 to 223 for class C. Okay, so the given option class C is correct for the given range of a network. So 198 is in the range class C. Next, the subnet mask 255.255.192. Subnetting is the process of designating some higher order bits from the host part and grouping them with the network mask to form the subnet mask. So here the subnet mask, given subnet mask is used in IPv4 addressing to determine the network portion and the host portion of an IP address. So let us convert the given decimal values in the subnet mask into binary values. So after converting the given values into binary values, then so in the first three positions here we have the continuous 8 bits of 1, and in the last one, that is in the 192, we have 2 ones followed by 6 zeros. Okay, so the network portion has the first 26 bits, that is the ones in the binary representation in the network, and remaining 6 bits. So the first 26 bits are ones and the remaining 6 bits are zeros in the host portion. So in the network portion there are 26 ones and in the host portion there are 6 zeros. Thus, the subnet mask 255.255.255.192 extends the network portion to 26 bits. So the answer is 26 bits. The LAPB frame structure and the frame structure of SDLC are. What is meant by LAPB? That is a link access protocol balanced, and SDLC is a precursor to the SDLC. So SDLC means synchronous data link control. So it is a precursor of the SDLC, that is a high level data link control. So these two frame structures are in a data link layer only. Okay. So that's why the answer is B. The structure are identical. So LAPB is one of the three layers making up X.25 and was a development by ITU. So of LAP, which itself comes from SDLC, LAPB operates like SDLC, however, it is restricted to using the ABM transfer mode, that is a point-to-point link. So SDLC is a layer 2 protocol designed by IBM to carry the systems network architecture traffic. So here, both the structure are identical. So answer is option B. Next, linking. So what is meant by linking? Linking can be performed both before and after the relocation. So that's why the option C is the correct one. Next. Which of the following is the most general phase structured grammar? Regular, context sensitive, context free and syntax free. So here the picture. So if you consider the picture, so type 0 is a Turing machine, that is unrestricted grammar. Type 1 is supporting context sensitive grammar accepted by the machine linear bounded automata, and type 2 is accepted by context free grammar, that is a pushed on automata machine. So answer is option B, that is a context sensitive language. So it is a phrase structured grammar originally introduced by the Chomsky as a term for grammars to define the structure rules. Phrase structured grammars are also known as constituency grammars. Context sensitive grammars are most phrase structured grammar. A compiler for a high level language that runs on one machine and produces code for a different machine is called as cross compiler. So this compiler is capable of creating executable code for a platform other than the one in which the compiler is running. For example, a compiler that runs on a Windows 7 PC but generates code that runs on Android smartphone is a cross compiler. A cross compiler is necessary to compile for multiple platforms from one machine. The K in LR of K cannot be. So it cannot be none of this. So the K value may be, the K is a look ahead. So LR of K refers to the look ahead. So which can take any of the value, that is 0, 1 and 2. So option D is correct one. Next. Peephole optimization is a form of. So it is a kind of optimization performed over a very small set of instructions in a segment of generated code. The set is called a peephole or a window. It works by recognizing sets of instructions that can be replaced by shorter or faster sets of instructions. Common technique applied in peephole optimization is constant folding that evaluates the constant sub-expressions in advance. So option C is the correct one. An OS is an application software that manages the computer hardware and software resources and provides common services for the computer program. So it is a collection of software routines. Dash is one of the preemptive scheduling algorithms. So we have different types of preemptive. Preemptive means, so it will take successive intervals to execute the particular program. So there will be some interruption in the execution of the program. In non-preemptive scheduling means there is no interruption here. Once a job is taken, it will be executed completely. Okay. So preemptive scheduling allows a process to be interrupted in the middle of its execution and move to the ready queue. So another process can execute. So one of the example is round robin scheduling algorithm. Okay. So this is a preemptive scheduling algorithm where each process is having some time quantum here to execute. So if it doesn't finish within this time, it is preempted and sent back to the ready queue. The other options are SJF, shortest job first, is a non-preemptive version, and the preemptive version of the SJF is a SRTF, that is the shortest remain time first. Priority based, it can be either preemptive or non-preemptive depending on the implementation, and shortest job next. So it is a non-preemptive and similar to SJF. Next, a software to create a job queue is called. So it is called as a spooler. So actually, spooler is a software that manages sending jobs to the printer. When an application prints a document, the formatted output is stored on disk, and the print spooler feeds the print images to the printer in the background at a slower printing speed. Option B. Next one. A permanent database of a general model of compiler is terminal table. Terminal table is a permanent table which lists all keywords and special symbols of the language in a symbolic form. Option D is the correct one. Next. Loading operating system from secondary memory to main memory is called booting. So booting is the process of loading the program from secondary memory to main memory. So OS is the first program that is executed from the executed in the system. So when you start a system, the first program that we will execute is the operating system. So option B is the correct one. Next. The software cost performance index is given by. So which are the following options? The cost performance index is a metric used in project management, including software projects, to measure cost efficiency. It is calculated as a ratio of budgeted cost of work performed to the actual cost of work performed. So the option A is the correct one. Okay. So here, if the cost performance index is greater than 1, it indicates the project is under budget and it is efficient. If the CPI is less than 1, it indicates the project is over budget, and CPI equals to 1, then it indicates the project is exactly on budget. Next, software risk estimation involves following two tasks. So risk estimation involves a risk probability and a risk impact. Probability means the likelihood that a risk will occur, and risk impact means what is the impact of the risk on the project. So the risk may be on a financial cost, schedule delays, or impact on project quality. So software risk estimation involves risk probability and risk impact. So option B is the correct one. Next, in a object-oriented software design, inheritance is a kind of a relationship. Right. So option A is the correct one. Reliability of a software is directly dependent on. So it is if a particular software is working properly, that means there is no errors in the software. Then only the software will give the correct output. So option B is the correct. Number of errors present. Next one. Abstraction is a dash step of attribute in a software design. Abstraction is a first step in the software design. Abstraction is the process or result of generalization by reducing the information content of a concept or an observable phenomenon to retain only information which is relevant for a particular purpose. So Grady Booth mentions abstraction, encapsulation, modulation and hierarchy as the fundamental design principles, where abstraction is the first step of the attribute in software design. So option A is correct one. The frequency band allocated for the downlink in GSM is. The frequency band allocation of GSM is 935 to 960 MHz. That is option B is the correct one. So in the GSM, that is a global system for mobile communications, the frequency bands are allocated for uplink. That is for if you want to upload something, then the frequency is 890 to 915 MHz. And the downlink, that is if you want to download something from the base station to the mobile station, then it is 935 to 960 MHz. So downlink will be, the downloading capacity will be always greater than the uploading capacity. Which of the following is an EDI standard? So EDI means electronic data interchange. Option D is the correct one. ANSI X.12 is the standard organization chartered by the ANSI in 1979. It develops and maintains the X.12 electronic data interchange and content-inspired component architecture standards along with XML schemas which drive business process globally. An int file in Windows 95 is. So an int file is a text file. So int file in Windows 95 is a text with a basic structure composed of sections and properties. Link analysis operation in data mining uses dash technique. So it uses the association discovery technique. So data mining involves association rule learning to search for relationship between variables. Classification is a task of generalizing known structure to apply to new data in data mining. And clustering is a task of discovering groups and structures in the data that are in same way or similar way without using known structures in the data mining. So that's why the option B is correct one, association discovery. Next one. The maximum size of SMS in IS-95 is dash octets. So maximum size of SMS, short message service, in IS-95 is 120 octets. The option A is correct one. So this is all about the 25 questions in the part 2. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching the video.